Hey everyone, welcome to session 4. I'm so excited that you've joined us again today. Today's going to be a really great topic, and it's really important for all of us to take a moment and get in the right mindset to take this information because today we're going to learn about how to be your own teacher. And to do this, it does require some self-reflection. So please, make sure that you're ready to do some self-reflection through this. So, usually we think we need a mentor, a coach, your manager to help us stay motivated. That, of course, that's a dream, but it's not always the reality because sometimes we're on our own. We know this. The cool thing is, the science shows that you actually don't need someone else to cheer you on, and you can get the same performance by boosting and coaching yourself. So, today I'm going to show you a simple trick to do exactly that. Research shows that the growth mindset works best when it's a two-way street. So, if it's your employee or your boss or your student and mentor relationship, of course, it works best if both believe that growth is possible. But we're all human. And there will be days when you're tired and your student's totally discouraged and unmotivated, or you feel like you can't motivate. And we can't always rely on each other for that pep talk. So that's why self teaching is important. And it's not only about, being able to pump yourself up, but it's also about building a survival kit so your brain can stay on track even when you're working alone. So I really want you to pause a moment and think about a time you felt like giving up on a student. And if you would have been coaching yourself in that moment, what would you have said? So for leaders, think about a time you almost gave up on an employee. If you were coaching yourself, what would you have said to pump yourself up? So take a moment to reflect on that. What would you have said to pep yourself up so you wouldn't have that reaction towards that person? It's hard. But here's a simple tool for us to use, okay? We can write a letter. So, if you're a mentor, maybe you're going to write this letter to a new mentor that's starting, or maybe to your younger self. If you're a manager, maybe a new manager that's coming in. But it's important to think about that person coming to you for advice, what you would say to them. So, how this letter writing works, we're going to explain two things. So, in this letter, we're going to explain to that other self or that other person how your brain grows from failure and how stress actually is fuel for your body. So, how would you explain that to another person? Your brain grows from failure and how stress is actually the fuel for your body. So even though you're writing this letter to a stranger, your brain is the one that's listening. And it's the fastest way to turn a lesson into a belief. So I encourage you, if you need prompts for this writing, I encourage you really to reflect on a time you felt completely overwhelmed, but you succeeded anyway. And maybe write a 3 to 4 sentence, letter to yourself as a letter advice. And what I encourage you to do is identify what the challenge was, name the action that you took to overcome it, and why that growth friction, why it was worth it. So, again, identify the challenge, name the action that you took to overcome it, and then remind yourself why that was worth it. The growth friction was worth it. So, why does this simple letter work? Because teaching is the best way to learn. When you have to explain a growth mindset to someone else, you have to find the logic in it yourself. So you really have to think through what it is. So this creates that lasting change. So for the student, it builds that independence. As if they're able to understand how they would explain the growth mindset to a new student, then it clicks for them. So for us, maybe it prevents burnout if we can explain to ourselves in that letter how to see challenges as opportunities for growth. So both of us, then the student and the mentor, all of us, we start to see challenges as a way to get stronger rather than a reason to quit. And for students, we really want them to be able to do this on themselves for themselves and not solely rely on us. Same with, managers. We don't want our team to rely on us to make any decisions or any actions or take actions. We want them if they to know that if they make a mistake, it's okay. It's no big deal. It's a part of learning. So it's important to make this a regular habit. Okay, so the next time a session with a student gets hard, or maybe a one-on-one with an employee gets hard, I really want you to take 5 minutes, and maybe both you and the other person that you're in that meeting with, take a moment and write a quick note to your future self. Right? It reminds both of you that we are learning and we're leading and learning. So you aren't just there to give answers, you're there to show them how to handle the struggle. So if I would take a moment and pause in a difficult conversation or being stuck with a solution for a student, and I say, okay, both of us, let's take a moment and let's write a quick note to our future selves as to how we should best handle this situation. We're learning and we're showing how to lead by what we're doing, our actions. So we're not just talking about a tool, we're starting a movement, and it starts with us. In a moment, you, the trainers, will practice this. And then you're going to lead your vertical buddy team mentors through this same practice. And finally, the mentoring team will then lead this with their students. So this ensures no matter where someone is in the program, they know how to coach themselves through a hard day without waiting on a phone call or an email. All right? So let's practice this. So we're going to go off cameras, and I want you to write a short letter to yourself or a brand new mentor, however you want to view it in your head. And this mentor is terrified of making a mistake. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you would explain to them that their stress isn't a sign that they're a bad mentor. It's a sign that they care. Tell them that the stress and anxiety and the challenges that they're experiencing is just their brain is growing and it's allowing them to learn. And by writing this to a new person, you're actually reinforcing these truths for yourself. So, again, another way you can think about a prompt is think about a challenging time where you wanted to quit, but you didn't. So, what did you do to not quit? And how would you explain that to your earlier self or a new mentor? So, let's take a moment to do that. So, you can pause this video, maybe take 3 to 5 minutes and write that letter. All right. How was that experience? It's hard. It's not easy, is it? Because you really have to self reflect and think about how you can explain it to somebody to understand. But what's happening is you're learning what you're explaining. It's clicking for you as well. So it's important now, trainers, what we're going to do is you're going to lead your vertical buddy team mentors through this same activity. So I want you to think of have them think of a stressful time in their role and maybe a time that they get overwhelmed and they know they're pushing their own boundaries. I want everyone to take that pause and have everyone write that letter to their future self, a new mentor, however you want to think about it. And first, identify the problem, right? What's causing it? The strategy that you took to overcome the problem and why it was worth it. And then make sure that you're also talking about viewing those challenges as opportunities to grow. Because not knowing the answer actually is a powerful tool for us as mentors to use with a student, because then they show how we accept that unknown, the not knowing. We hit pause, but we learn and go and research it and figure out how to help, right? So we don't just say, oh, I don't know, or guess. We actually take that challenge, take on that opportunity to learn more and do better. So we've created a chain of command for resilience. And you've practiced it as trainers today, and you're going to lead your mentors who will then lead this to their students. So it is real important that we do have some follow through and follow up with this. So you can, during that vertical buddy team meeting, make sure that you have them come back to you and let them know if they were able to have a student do this. But this ensures that no matter how stressful the virtual environment get, everyone has that internal voice that they need to keep moving forward. So let's lead from the front, okay? So here's a master slide. It combines the science that we've learned today with the actions you need to take when things get difficult. So you can either screenshot this now, or you can download this PowerPoint or email me. I can get it to you. But use this when the student is silent, or you feel that new mentor overwhelm or new leader overwhelm, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail. I really encourage you to pause and write a reflective and advice letter to yourself, to that new mentor, and say what the issue was, the strategy you took, and why it was worth it, why that growth friction was worth it. Because that's going to reinforce and give you a toolkit again to overcome challenges. Same with the student. So I encourage you to share, the words of wisdom that you provided to someone in our chat. And let's just keep this going, because it's real important that we keep learning from each other and learning how we can be better. So again, thank you for your commitment to this adaptation initiative. Don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Amy Mullins, Siobhan Cook, or Lee Angel for support as you implement. But let's do this. Let's lead from the front, and let's be able to self-coach ourselves and teach that amazing skill to our students. So I'm going to leave you with a question. So what is the first step you're going to take after this meeting to prepare for your next student session or mentoring session? So think about how you're going to take this information into that session. So thanks for joining me on session 4. See you soon.